Oh, what a cute
twitch.tv/FastNetEdge.
boy.
I know I
You
am.
are currently streaming. Oh shit, I
Meow.
forgot that she switched her picture.
Yeah, we have a new and updated Silera now.
Yeah. It me.
Mario.
It's a me.
I also slightly tweaked Dorbin's and Robin's character cards so that the height difference would be a little bit clearer.
Yeah.
Wait, you mean they're not the same height?
No, we're not. No, you're not. Okay, so go ahead and take the reins for the summary, my dearest Robert.
All right. So, to start off, we started with Silera chilling in the tavern, talking to the two ruffians that she had met there. After a little bit of back and forth, they ended up going back up into their room, and she went about her night. Sigus started off crafting Pearl of Power and the Plume of Panache, which is a lot of P's there all at once.
Alliteration.
I spent my downtime doing sermons at the chapel, which were received quite well. And I got a card from a fortune teller. Red decided to keep his eyes on the glassworks, and he set up a meeting between Six and the Sage, so they could kind of talk it out, because Six used to be, work at what's the word? Oh, it's gone now. All right.
Apprentice?
No.
He was an archivist.
Archivist. That's what I was like. It starts with A. I can't remember.
Yep.
I kept wanting to say like artivist, and I'm like, that's not. Nope, that's not it. But so Six.
Man, it'd be dope if you could make us some clockwork.
Right? Especially Clockwork Dragon. It's the shit.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
It's only a CR40. It's fine.
Jesus.
They have rust breath that just rusts everything metal, regardless of if it's magic or not.
Yep.
Just gone.
Takes notes for final battle. Yeah, go on.
That is some bullshit.
Yep. And then Robin spent his downtime getting workers from the docks to help them get some more muscle for the glassworks, because they had people who kind of knew what they were doing with Bell, since he was, was an alchemist. He's worked with glass before. So they just needed somebody who could, move the stuff that they need moved.
Mm-hmm.
And then after all of that stuff, we all went and got our fortune read, which by the rest of us, it's Sigus, Red, and myself. Sigus got the unicorn, I got the midwife, and Red got the idiot.
Classic.
Yup.
Yup.
Or fool. I'm not sure exactly which.
I think it was the idiot, straight up.
Yeah.
The card is called the idiot in the Harrow, but it is also referred to as the fool.
Gotcha. Then we all went to bed, and in the morning, Dorbin heard heavy feet from guards, and he went down to talk to them, and they were told to he was told to grab the party and meet at the sawmill, which Dorbin immediately went upstairs and woke everybody up, except for Robin, who was already awake.
Yeah.
So we all went over to the sawmill, heard rumors that somebody had been killed, or two people had been killed. Upon going inside, we had found out for sure that there was in fact a double murder, and that Silera's bag, her makeup bag specifically, was found at the crime scene with a twisted love note. And then Silera was pretty freaked out about it when she found out, and she pretty much turned ghastly white. And then we found that
Maybe it's her guilty conscience.
Yeah, the two that were murdered were Catherine, and she was cut up in the sawmill itself, and Harker, who was killed upstairs. And just some notes about each of their injuries were that Catherine had claw marks on her hand, and she was the one that defended herself with the axe that was found upstairs next to Harker's body. Harker had one arm pinned to the wall with a wooden stake that was just a piece of wood debris that was stabbed into his arm, and one of his legs was pretty much cleaved off around the knee by a butcher's knife, which led us to maybe having some questions about the actual butcher murder that happened 5 or 6 years ago. We also then realized that the pouch was stolen the previous day after Celera had put it on her makeup. We also found that there was a smell of rotten flesh that just kind of lingered throughout the area. Kat had a promise ring on her severed hand, or pinky specifically, and it was a copper ring, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
We also found that there were 7 pointed stars carved on each of the bodies.
I think it was just on the dude's body.
Oh, was it
Just
on the
just in
body?
the dudes.
Oh, okay.
Also, it would have been very hard to tell where the
Yeah. Because it was
horse.
diced.
Yeah.
Yeah, cats in cordwood pieces, so not much we can do with that.
Yep. And at that point, we pretty much decided to split off and kind of do our own thing to find more information. One group found that Kat and Harker seemed to be Kat seemed to be going to the sawmill on a regular basis. People assumed that they were sleeping together. Harker also was tagged as somebody who was having a homosexual relationship with Ibar, I believe was his name.
Ivor Thorne, his work
Ivor
companion.
Thorne. Yeah. Who is currently jailed.
Mm-hmm.
And then I mean that's pretty much what they found out, unfortunately. And then we found out at the place that there was footprints leading to the river and on the other side, which we lost at that point. We also found some tissue of a gross creature. We have to assume is one of the one that climbed the wall outside that went along with a trail of blood that was down there. And I think that was pretty much it.
All right. That was a very detailed and very well done summary. Go ahead and take a D6 for tonight.
Hell yeah.
Oh shit! Nice work, man.
Alright, good. Probably my dice.
Haha.
On that note, let's get back on track on this murder investigation. So, where we actually left off last week was just after you had finished both sides of the investigation, or at least this segment of the investigation, and had finally grouped up and shared the information with the other party. So now that you're all back together, where does the group which next lead does the group take?
This would be really exciting. He's hoping that Scylla can check if anything else is missing, because if you have something that is missing that you can picture in your mind, I can write a spell for you that'll let you know its know its direction for about 6 minutes within 550 feet. And so if they're in the town and we start in the middle, I just think that could be if they've taken anything, and I think that's an easy thing to try and find out.
I mean that's a good idea. Let's go check out Silaire's room. Robin's gonna pipe up and be like, yeah, I can take a look at the area and see, maybe somebody left something there. I got an eye for that kind of thing specifically. So
Also might want to
maybe
move
we could
rooms.
ask
Yeah.
what's her face if she'd seen anybody go up and fire our rooms at all.
Yeah. Amico?
Miko, that's the one.
I feel like she'd tell us.
What were the other options available? There's the Celera angle. There's the dude in the prison, and was there anything else?
There's two people imprisoned right now.
Kat's father is also in the prison.
Yeah. There's Catherine's father, Van Vinder.
Yeah.
And there's also Ivor Thorne, which was the co-worker of the murdered man.
Also, I would probably like to know who gave Kat that promise ring.
Probably Ivor. Or not
Right.
Ivor. Harker.
Yeah.
It's possible, but if
I mean,
Possible. But we don't know for
the-
sure.
yeah, we haven't seen any actual indication that they were sleeping together.
Yeah.
well, aside
That's
from the
just rumor.
hearsay.
Yeah, all we have is rumor. So actually, I would probably go back down and see if I can take off the ring and see if there's any inscription on the inside of the ring.
Sure. I mean, the assumption was that you guys were sort of at the door to the sawmill because you guys were still investigating that area. So sure, you can go back in, check the evidence, and sure enough, as you pull the ring and check the inscription, it doesn't actually say any names, but it does say, "My heart will always belong to you."
That sounds sweet or creepy.
It
I
can.
mean, it's very easy to find out. It's like we just ask somebody and be like, "What's on the inside of her ring?" I mean, maybe her dad gave it to her, or something. I don't know,
Possible.
like a gift, you know?
I mean,
Well,
it seems
I mean-
more of a romantic thing than
or
a father
or
daughter.
Red will kind of throw it there. Well, if she's
But
wearing
it
the ring publicly, there's a good shot that her dad already was aware.
Yeah.
or
So-
it's
Yeah.
possible that it is from her dad, and considering how much we know about him being really protective and specific about the type of guys that she would be with, it wouldn't be too far off to think that the promised ring was from him.
Yeah, I would go. I mean, we'll let's walk and talk. But I would say that on when we get to talking to him, we go easy on that angle, just because I don't think he'll react super well to
And I mean-
accusations.
Also, her dad and Ivor are both in the jail, and it's not a very big jail, so they could get to talking, you know. And maybe Ivor finds out that, you know, Kat has been seeing Harker or allegedly seeing Harker, and maybe he got kind of like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, we could bring them upstairs and have a separate interrogation of each of them.
sure, I can interrogate real well.
Yeah. There you go.
I can't.
Red just smiles.
I believe you guys.
Anyway, yeah. So my vote's we go back and check out the inn, see if we can find any clues there, and then
Yeah.
Okay.
move to
We'll
the
hit inn,
prison,
then
I
go to
guess.
jail. Yeah.
All right.
Agree.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
As it sounds that you are all in unison on this, you guys head over to back to the Rusty Dragon. Amiko is already there, working for the day. Doesn't seem like Bethana has started her shift though. Did you want to ask her if she'd seen anyone, or did you discard that line of inquiry?
Yeah, I would like to ask
Yeah.
her if she had seen
Just
anybody go
but
upstairs.
Red will stop everyone before we start talking to people, like kind of before we go back in and be like, all right, I know I'm not the king of subtlety, but remember we're supposed to keep the details on the low end. So if we're asking people about stuff being stolen, it's just been stolen, i.e.
Yeah.
misplaced, not found anywhere.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
Okay, it's more of a reminder for myself than anything else, but I figured I'd say it out loud.
That's very good. You're making strides here, bud.
You're a good teacher, Robin.
Wink.
Don't say that. All right.
So,
I will.
go ahead.
I figured that it would make more sense for me to go up and ask, since it's my stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, Red's got a high perception too, so he'll start casing the rooms while you're talking to her.
Yeah, Robin will go take a look at the rooms with Red.
Okay.
Same.
So, as you guys walk in, once again you see Amiko working the behind the bar, sort of keeping an eye out on the lobby. She sort of gives you a nod, acknowledging that you're back. Robin, Red, since you're headed upstairs. Dorbin, are you headed upstairs as well?
Yes, I am.
Okay. The three of you, go ahead and give me perception checks as you investigate.
That's pretty good.
There you go.
Yeah, that's gonna fucking do it.
I don't even know where the rest of us are rolling.
I mean, yeah.
Robin is literally
Robin.
checking only his room.
Dorbin and Robin, you guys are sort of trying to check everything out, avoiding any sort of like too personal an area, trying not to cut in through Celera's perhaps more private possessions.
Whereas Red does not give a fuck.
Yeah, I mean, Red, you've done some cover-ups in the past, and you know that if something's going to go missing, it's the thing that nobody would double check. It looks like there's like a very clear. Actually, Celera. Question: How orderly are you about your clothes?
Pretty orderly. Pretty particular about how everything is kind of.
Do you fold your underwear?
Sure do.
All right. Despite all of her shirts and dresses being properly either folded up or hung, and you see that her underwear is all very prim and proper until you see that one of them is sort of slightly unfolded, and you can tell from how they're stucked up that there is a missing panty.
Oh, that's just fucking creepy.
And as you're going through some other of the possessions, and you're like having that in the back of your mind, there's a brush on her sort of general makeup area, like the it's not a desk, it's what's the word?
A vanity.
A vanity. Her brush is like completely clean, and you can tell like nobody with a hair that long would have a perfectly clean brush.
Yeah, so after he finishes kind of looking around in the room, he'll pull Dorbin and Robin aside and be like, well, I've got some bad news. Apparently this guy is not only a murderer, but he is a total creep. He has stolen some of Celera's underwear based on her folding pattern, and all the hair out of her brush.
Well, nothing's missing from my room, so I think we're pretty good there.
Yeah,
No panties missing from you.
well, I don't...
Mostly, I keep the chest of gold in my room, so
Yeah.
nothing was stolen.
Gotcha.
I don't think he's you're his type, as it were. But you mind giving me a hand checking outside the window? I figure that was probably the entrance used,
No, sorry.
since
Yeah.
he's a climber.
Can take a look. Sounds good to me. Yeah.
All right. Well, sorry. What are you double checking then?
Just want to look outside pop the window open and kind of. Well, I know Robin can run up and down the walls, so he's probably the best to do it. But like,
Sure. The window.
stick her heads out the wall.
When you go to open the window, you find that the window is not locked, and you sort of go to check the lock, and you sort of put a hand on the window, and it sort of gives way, and it opens outwards. And checking on the outside, you can spot that there's a little bit of a scratch mark on the windowsill, but there's no marks on the outside.
Can Robin use a disable device to examine the lock itself to see if it's been tampered with?
Certainly. Give me a disabled device. Not by any means that you would know of.
Okay. It looks like she just forgot to lock it, so that's fine.
Oh, I've got an idea though. We could use it as a bit of a honeypot. The fact that the window's not locked. Like set up a little trap in here.
Hey, Red.
And put some stuff.
Hey, Red.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, we're on that page already.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're
okay.
is this like you're verbalizing it to remind yourself kind of thing?
I forgot that we'd talked about that earlier.
Right. Yeah. So let's just keep this on the DL, and that's the plan. All right.
Okay.
Let's head back down.
Well, probably best that Silera is not in the room while that goes on. The bait does not always survive the trap.
I mean, I can be the bait. I'm pretty.
Sure.
True.
Yeah, you're certainly hardier than she is.
Rude.
All right. Maybe we'll talk to some of the other patrons and see what else is. If anyone's seen anyone acting funny, sniffing hair or underpants. Oh.
In the meantime, while this side of the investigation is going on, Silera, how do you approach the subject to Amiko?
I am just gonna be like, hey, Amiko, for some reason I cannot locate what was it that I totally forgot.
Makeup bag.
Makeup bag.
Makeup bag. So I have this makeup bag, and I explain it to her. Did you by chance see somebody with it, or me bring it downstairs? Within the last 24 hours, I can't seem to find it.
Um,
And I just kind of casually like slide in, hey, did anybody take it? Or maybe I lost it. Just kind of like,
I I don't recall seeing anyone bringing out a leather bag. I wasn't looking out for it, so I wasn't paying attention to specifically a leather bag, and also you know that everyone here wears leather bags for everything. The only people who have stayed here in the past couple days is you guys. The two people that you were talking to the other day, and one other guest. And the other guest hasn't come downstairs yet. I'll check in with them, see if they have it. Maybe they mistook their room. Maybe you dropped it when you were going out. But I'll keep an eye out for it.
okay. I'm trying to think if I want her to like talk to that person.
Out
Whatever.
of character
was
as
it-
a bartender, she probably has a pretty good sense motive.
Was it? I know that you said it was makeup, but was it a personal thing? Like, was it a gift from someone? Because it looks like you're a little bit unnerved. I mean, it's just.
Yeah,
I know it's makeup, but you shouldn't get.
Yeah, I know. I just it's hard for me to feel comfortable not wearing makeup out everywhere. Just presentation wise. So I feel like with my routine kind of being out of whack, it just kind of, I don't know, I'm a little unnerved by it. But if you see it, just let me know. It's no big deal. I just
Okay. Wait, are you telling me that
it.
you're not wearing makeup today?
I am not wearing makeup.
What?
Literally sparkling.
You're literally sparkling. You need to teach me what you're doing to your skin, because I need to start on whatever you're doing.
It's called
Okay,
soap and water.
Well,
Oh,
wow.
good thing he's not down there.
Yep.
When I have a little bit of
Start fights.
downtime, absolutely, I will tell you a little bit of tips and tricks.
Okay, I'll get on finding your makeup bag.
But
If-
to be
if-
fair, your skin is beautiful as well.
Thank
so
you.
you don't really need a whole lot of tips and tricks for sparkling. But
Thank you, but you got me beat there. If you need any makeup, I can lend you some of mine. But I'll get on it, trying to find your missing bag.
thank you.
Let me know if you need anything else.
Okay, sounds good. And then I'm gonna go head upstairs.
Okay. At which point, you find the three other members of your party. In the meantime, Sigis, what are you up to?
Sigus is kind of just exploring, kind of helping out. He's making sure nothing got taken like from his room too. And he's also checking. Sorry, I'm also like very sick right now.
Did
My brain's
you
coming out
catch
my
it?
nose. I got
You
the
got the
sickness
you got
Katie
the
had.
itis. Yeah.
Do you have it too,
Coronavirus?
Sandy?
Yes.
No. My sister was
I
just sick, and
definitely
I
have
was
it.
in a car with her for 5 hours, and
It's
now I have the sick.
it's just the same bug that has spread through half my players now.
It's coronavirus.
Yeah.
It's the coronavirus. Please no.
Can only be beaten by drinking Coronas.
Yeah. And wearing
Push,
surgical
push,
masks.
push,
Yes.
push.
Yes, the Sigus is kind of, well, first he's checking out the room, and then he's also double checking on his like magic idea, and he's kind of just waiting to kind of support the crew with
All right.
whatever.
Give me a perception check then as well.
Oh, my best skill.
Somehow I doubt it.
It's not great.
It's not amazing, no, by any stretch of the imagination.
above a
Sigus
10.
wears glasses.
Look, your room seems to be just like you left it. And
Shithole.
yeah, I mean it looks as disorganized as you remember, and you can tell that there's the same amount of magical powder residue left in the air. And a quick check with your detect magic confirms this match. There's your magical items and reagents for your books are still there. Everything seems to be undisturbed. But yeah, you hear Celera coming up and starting to talk to the rest of the crew as you sort of come back out of your room.
So, no luck on the bag, but we know that besides us staying here, that there were the two people that I spoke to, the other adventurers, and then there was one other person. So I'm sure that maybe we can figure out who that might be and do a little bit more investigating on that last person.
Right.
And as far as I know, the two adventurers that came through have already left. I mean, they could also be suspects, but so that's the information that I know.
It's also, if it's someone who just showed up in town, that's probably less likely. Because if this person's been following you around, right? Like, it will
We-
be before the Devil of Sandpoint.
We also don't know when the well we also don't know when this other person showed up, or
Right.
if the adventurers have moved off and are staying just outside of town.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
something.
We
They
don't,
were here last night because they
Right.
did take her makeup bag between when she used it yesterday and this morning when she didn't have it.
Fair. So, well, I mean, if we can find them, we can certainly talk to them. More importantly for you and Siggy's and Solera, we did some casing of the joint, and
There's something
Well,
missing. So
yeah,
Silera,
yes,
let's just go up and you can take a gander, and then Sigus, you can use that spell.
okay.
yeah.
the two missing things, I guess.
Only one that really pertains to the situation.
Okay.
The hair, I'm assuming.
Just shut up, man. Let's go to the room.
The what?
Subtlety, bro. Subtlety.
I'm like the what? Like I didn't hear.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
So you sort of usher the group into Silera's room, close the door probably for a little bit more privacy. And there you are. Like you can share the rest of the information at your own leisure.
Right.
Robin whispers in and is like, "You should check your underwear drawer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just figure out which one's missing and then do the spell with Sigus."
Also, they took the hair out of your brush and came in through the window.
My hair?
Yes, they emptied your whole brush.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like
it's
go through
fucking
my underwear
creepy.
drawer looking to see which one, and then I'm like, "Yup, know which one it is."
Yeah, I mean, you're wearing a pair
It's the
now, I am
sexiest
assuming.
one.
Yeah.
Damn.
Mentally file that they went through her underwear drawer and not say that out loud. But he's also wondering,
Wait, what?
sorry, I didn't cause. Now I feel bad for Morgan.
Sorry, Morgan.
I was
wondering,
Well,
collecting hair and
Siggy,
clothing.
Siggy, this was your idea for sure. I don't know why you suggested looking in there.
Is there like any spells that would require like some of the hair more specifically?
Oh, there's
Oh, so
a
many.
fucking billion of them. Body parts are a very common spell component, especially for dark magics.
Yeah, like
in divination.
Yeah.
and cloning. Or,
Underwear though is probably just for personal preference.
That's
You're
for the
getting
good
big
sniffing.
Japan vibes over here, dog.
God,
Ugh.
Cindy. Oh God. Okay. So Sigus is gonna have to go and make a scroll because basically I can't cast this spell because I can't picture the item. I haven't seen it before. So I'm gonna create this scroll for it, and then you're gonna have to cast it.
Well, we don't know if Sigus has gone through her underwear drawer.
I can say.
Can I do a sense motive on
Yeah. Use your oratory,
idea.
remember.
Yeah, use your oratory.
Yeah, use oratory.
I'm for real gonna do it.
Mm-hmm. No, go ahead, please. You're pretty certain that Siggis's embarrassment is not at the fact that he has gone snooping around your underwear drawer, but the fact that you're talking about the underwear drawer. Your underwear, and he's having to think about a spell that forces you to picture the item in question. Because what I'm hearing is Siggis, from what you're saying, Siggis, is that you were a little bit perhaps trying to avoid the subject.
Yes.
Correct me if my intuition was wrong about your character, please.
Oh no, yeah, he's awkward. He's uncomfortable.
Okay.
He thinks we're talking about her underwear way too much.
How long will the scroll take you there, Sigus?
So I'll be able to hammer it out in like it's a second level spell, but it's under 250, so it'll take me like
Couple hours.
should be under it. No, it should be like an hour.
It'll still take you a couple hours, just because you need to prepare for the crafting. It would technically take you 8 hours, but for scrolls you can because technically you need to when you craft for 8 hours.
Well, why don't you get started on that? And well, we see if we can track down the other guests in the inn, and we'll grab you if we're gonna go somewhere else.
Yeah, so I'll get started on that.
Unless you got any other good spells. I mean, we know some of what it took. If you got any divination or anything like that.
Divination is really is one of the schools that I'm really not good at.
I mean, Thorben, what you got?
Oh, yeah, right. Clerics are good at seeing things, right? That's how that works.
I have currently nothing. It would likely take me at least an hour to even prepare something, but I'd have to review my little list.
Out of character, do either one of you have locate object?
Is the spell I'm creating.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
That's the scroll I'm doing.
Yeah, I was gonna say we could use scrying, but that on the skin would be the other option. That gross piece of flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think scrying is perhaps a little bit outside the realm of possibilities for Sigis right now. Although I'm
Yeah,
not.
no,
I'm not.
for Sigus for sure. I was
I
thinking
have
more
faith.
Dwarven for that.
It's,
I thought
Well,
Scry was
your faith is
cleric one.
misplaced in this case.
I mean,
Never
Scry
is.
is both, but it's a very
High level
high-level
spell.
We don't have access to the spell at all.
Okay, augury is also outside then probably. Anyway,
But a little bit closer.
yeah. Don't worry about it. Red doesn't know any of this shit anyway, so
Yep.
this is me
So,
just talking.
what I'm getting is while Sigis is crafting a scroll of locate object, you guys want to go and see if you can interrogate the prisoners, the suspects.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Red was gonna suggest we can perhaps split off. I don't know if we all want to go interrogate or we want to try and see who this other guest is before
Well, my
they.
thing is, they're in
Thought.
jail,
But
right?
yeah,
They couldn't have
before
done
they
anything
up
if
and
they were in jail.
Well, they
they
were
were apprehended this morning.
Yeah.
this morning, both
Yeah.
of them.
Oh,
Yeah,
So thoughts on the
because
guest?
the father was raging, and then obviously the Ivor is the one that found them. So
Yeah,
they
so
were both
suspects
detained.
number
Gotcha.
1 and 2. But yeah, exactly to your point, Robin. They're not going anywhere, and I'm worried the other guests may blow town, and it's gonna be hard as hell to find them if they ain't in the inn anymore.
Yeah.
So thoughts on the guest? I'm mulling over two different things. So number one, I could go back down to Amiko and ask her which rooms are vacant currently, and that'll tell us which one the other one is in, which room the other person is in. And I can just, bluff my way through that.
Whoa.
Or we can knock on doors. And I feel like knocking on doors could be a little bit more giving ourselves away, giving our position away.
or option Z, I could just break into their rooms.
Well, hold on there, Robin. Wait, never mind. Actually, I wasn't there for this. My only worry would be that if they're in the room, that's not gonna go super well for us.
Right.
So wait for them to come downstairs, and then I go up.
Yeah, for sure. If we can get them to come downstairs, that'd be perfect.
Well,
but what
yeah.
I was thinking is, so Lara, you said you was asking about your makeup bag. Just tell Miko that you want to talk to them and see if they've seen it around in like any of the shared spaces or anything.
I don't really feel comfortable talking. I'm concerned about making contact with this person in the event that it is the person that we think it is.
I mean, I could be there with you if you'd
Yeah,
like.
we're not
Okay.
going anywhere. We'll be right.
Okay, then that's
right there
fine.
with you.
I mean, we could have Robin just sitting outside the window waiting.
That's fine. I just with all the weirdness that's been happening, I just
Yeah, no, we wouldn't send you off by yourself.
Oh God, no. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say once you get the go ahead to talk to them, we'll just kind of come with you. Plus,
Okay.
the more of us are there, the more uncomfortable they're going to be, the more likely they're going to slip up and say something dumb.
Okay.
Or that they'll clam up and not do anything wrong.
Well, I've got a way of convincing people to say stuff. Generally, I can be very aggravating.
You're not
I mean,
wrong.
it usually ends up you saying too much, but
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. We
it
can
works
do
Yeah,
in
I'm
that.
gonna
my
have to
favor
give Red
too.
the credit for that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Fair. Okay.
But I won't say nothing until you tell me to.
I will. In the event that I need you, I will snap my finger.
I
Like if I am sensing something that's off, but it's not said into words, I will snap my finger.
All right. Well, I will certainly apply my skill set if that comes to pass.
Okay. Deal.
All right. So how are you trying to locate this person? Are you gonna wait them out then?
I figured
I mean,
could.
didn't she say that the person hasn't left their room yet?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I could just knock on their door.
probably be the best bet.
Yeah, well, that's why I was gonna say, like, you can either ask Amika what room it is, or if you just go and knock on all the doors and say, "Hey, I'm looking for my makeup bag," kind of thing.
I think I'm gonna do that just because then it seems a little less targeted.
Then we also find out if there's any weird people just hanging out in rooms too.
Right. Yeah, I just don't want I want to do as much as possible to make sure that whoever, if this person is should be a suspect and is potentially the person doing this, I don't want them to feel like they're being targeted. I want to kind of make it seem like, oh, I just lost my makeup bag. Can you help me? I'm helpless. I'm a beautiful woman. Help me.
Oh, yeah, and on that point, and Reddit kind of point this out to you guys. If they have a thing for you, Solera, they may actually want to help you search.
I mean, to be fair, the makeup bag is what we found. So if we ask them about the makeup bag, they could assume that we've been to where they were, and that's what we're asking about technically. So the person may be immediately defensive.
Okay.
Because
Well,
they know
we'll
where we've been.
we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
knocking on random doors. Let's do it.
Okay.
All right.
I like take a deep breath and I'm like, let's do it.
So Solera, you're taking point in being the one that knocks on doors, right?
Yes.
Right.
She is the one
So-
who knocks.
You're damn right. She's the one that knocks. So Solera, you go around. Of course, you don't knock on the doors that you know belong
Real
to
quick,
your companions. Go ahead.
Could I ask everybody just to wait an hour real quick, and I want to switch one of my spells to Zone of Truth.
Oh,
Sure.
that's a good call. Yeah.
I mean, sure.
Red'll wait in the lobby on the off chance that the new dude comes downstairs, just so we don't miss him.
Sure. Then Sigis is hard at work on for the next 2 hours, crafting a scroll. Dorban, you're praying to Abadar, right?
Yep.
You're praying to Abadar, trying to invoke their graces to help you in the endeavors ahead. And Red, you're sort of sitting down in the lobby. Robin, who do you stay with?
Robin's gonna stay with Silera.
Okay, and Celera?
Oh.
Are you staying downstairs or with Dorban?
Probably downstairs.
Okay, so the three of you are down in the lobby, and about 50 minutes have gone by when you see a rather young gentleman draped in white robes with a rather prominent silver necklace that has the symbol of Desna hanging from it. They're holding a rather hefty tome with one hand sort of tucked under their left armpit, and they're sort of tapping their lower lip with their empty hand. They sort of settle their spectacles on top of their nose. They push them back, and they sort of look around, see Amiko, and they start walking towards the bar.
I think that's your friend, Celera. We may want to go up and say hello.
Sure. Why not? And I kind of, I guess, follow behind him with some distance to not get sick I'm following him. And then I'm just gonna casually, if he is going to sit at the bar, I'm going to casually sit next to him.
Sure. He actually doesn't sit at the bar. He sort of goes up to Amiko and he sort of somewhat timidly, speaking in a low voice, goes, could I have my breakfast? I know that it's a little bit late, but I was hoping that I could finish up my business in town today before leaving. Perhaps could I get a sausage with my food? He sort of looks around, hearing you sort of dragging a chair out. He turns back to Mika and says, and perhaps a small bit of ale. Says, sure, I can get them marching along, and you can tell that Amika sort of has noticed you there, Celera, and sort of closes her eyes, just tries to smile and keep moving on, and she goes into the kitchen.
Did
go
I
ahead.
hear him say that he wanted it here at the bar or in his room?
It sounded like he meant in the bar, but he didn't specify.
Okay.
The assumption would be that he's going to sit at the bar or somewhere in the lobby.
Okay.
Just
then...
for just 1 second. This is what he looks like, just in case.
Oh, he's a fancy lad.
Yeah. Take into account that he does have a set of spectacles, that he is not wearing that picture. But that is...
How you doing?
No.
So, Celera.
Red whistles from the corner.
Damn. No.
Well, if he's just standing, and waiting for his food, I am... Is that what he's doing at the moment?
He's sort of standing there, but he's turned around and he's like looking through the lobby, probably ruminating upon which seat to take.
I am going to pipe up and say, if you're looking for a spot, there's an empty table over here. That's it. That's where I was sitting. Like totally, like that's not where. And just like if you'd like to join me.
Oh, sure. I wouldn't mind the company. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
He sits down, puts the hefty tome, and now that you can see it on the table, it's a leather-bound and metal-reinforced tome that has the symbol of Desna on the cover. And says, if let me introduce myself. I'm Simon Vuleven. Your name?
Where's his name?
Simon Vuleven. I'll spell it in chat for you.
It's kind
That's
of
fantastic.
It's kind of adorable, and I like want to like him, but like also like, but also like fuck this guy. So
Hey, we don't know if it's this guy.
it's true.
Red likes the new hotness.
Could be my future husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
Dibs.
And I am just gonna say, my name is Celera Suntress. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure is all mine. So,
So what brings you here?
I was supposed to meet with a friend. He was coming from Magnamore, but he's about a day and a half late, and I'm getting a little bit worried.
God.
You wouldn't.
That's concerning.
You wouldn't happened to chanced upon him. He's a strapping young man, long black hair. He usually wears an armor that has a sort of an eagle on his right shoulder, I believe. Right or left? No, it's definitely the right shoulder. Sort of stands out, and he sort of gestures to the size that it would represent over his shoulder. And it looks like the eagle would be the size of a head. This is
that doesn't ring a bell.
Well,
have you asked Amiko? She knows where everybody is.
I did, but she told me she hadn't heard of anyone like that. Well, if you happen upon him, perhaps he might not be wearing his armor, but he goes by the name of Ruben Taran. You might, please, if you do find him, just let him know that I'm heading back towards Magnamore. I'm departing at noon. It'd be a pity to just happen to miss each other.
Okay. Are you concerned that he's in any danger?
He's a capable warrior, but he was supposed to help me out with a certain problem, of the dangerous kind. So I trust his skill, but he has been a good friend to me, so I'm a little bit concerned. Yes, the roads are not always safe to travel.
Can I do a sense motion?
Certainly. Give me a perform oratory for that. Yep. He seems his concern seems genuine, and you can tell that he's a little bit distracted, even though he's trying to focus in what he's saying to you. Um, he's got that sort of aura and passiveness. Passive sort of unrest, that gives away that he's probably thinking about this friend of his.
Okay. What kind of help do you need? I mean, I am an adventurer and I have a group of friends that are also adventuring kind, so maybe we can help you.
That'd be well. If you could help me, that'd be great. I first off, I do need an escort back to Marknamore. I can't really protect myself on the road. Um, I was hoping that Ruben would keep me safe, and I don't know what I'm gonna do now with my trip back there. So I'm hoping to get a little bit of a secure coach ride. Uh, so that's point number one. But really, Ruben's help was going to be really a bit of a more personal matter. There are some investigations that I'm trying to advance, and there are some people who do not appreciate those investigations. So I do need a little bit of a bodyguard.
What kind of invest?
I trust that your intentions are good, but as you can tell, I'm a little bit concerned and without a bodyguard right now. So, um, perhaps if we could save it for some other time when I'm feeling a little bit less um, empty-handed, I could share.
I could be a bodyguard. Sup? I'm Robin.
Pleasure to meet you, Robin. What? Hold on. You wouldn't happen to be Robin Banks of the Banks of Twin Peaks?
Nope.
Robin
Nope, totally
turned
not
red
at all.
and leaves.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Completely different Robin.
No, Robin
Oh.
who? No, I'm just
Oh,
Robin.
Pretty good.
Oh, you do
Nah.
you do look a lot like the Robin in the wanted posters, though your nose looks a little bit different.
Right? I mean, yeah,
He's also got the ugly ass tattoos on his face, mate.
exactly.
Oh, you're right. That is. I, how did you get those? They look hand etched. Those must have been pretty painful.
Short answer, yes. So, you need a bodyguard.
Yes, as I was explaining to you. He sort of looks to you, Sailora, and back to Robin, and he's. Are you friends? Acquaintances?
Over at Red.
Oh yes.
No, Red is still at the table. He just shouted out that thing about tattoos and went back to his ale.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah,
Fingers have
Robin
not
and I
yet
go
been
way back.
snapped.
Well, as I was telling your friend, I do need a bodyguard all the way back to Mackmore, and while I solve some unfinished business. Sort of gives you a
Well-
very nervous smile.
I mean, if you need a bodyguard, how much do you pay?
I'm paying about the going rate for 2.5 gold pieces a day. Just to clarify, that is a humongous
That's a
amount
lot.
of money. That is about
That's a lot.
20 times what you pay for a bodyguard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he is the
This
hero
guy
of
is a-
Sandpoint, so he's gonna be like, all right, that sounds about right. He's
This
gonna
guy's
look
a
at
fucking
Salaire and
mark, is what he is.
be like, "You're good with red, right? I can go make some money, right?
I'm sorry.
You're good with red as your bodyguard. I can go make some money."
You're gonna leave.
I mean,
No, it's okay. I'll be good.
for a second, I thought you were gonna cry, and I was gonna say I won't go, but then I realized that you're fucking with me. Now I am gonna go.
Get out of here. I don't need
Yeah, I
you.
mean, yeah, no, I can do 2.5 gold a day. And you said you also needed to investigate some stuff. Is that like here, or is that like
No,
along the way?
no, that is back in Matmore. It should take us about. I'm hoping it won't take longer than 5 days, but might run a little bit longer. All in all, I think the whole endeavor shouldn't take longer than 15 days. A full.
Yeah, I think I can live that long. All right.
Sort of looks at
I
you a
just,
little
like-
bit concerned. And says, "Are you sick?"
Very.
Oh,
And while this is happening, I'm like trying to like not laugh. Like it took me back when you're like,
He has cancer,
I'm
but
like,
he'll
"Oh,
guard you."
Jesus," but then to
Like,
laugh,
yeah, I
and it's not
basically have
working.
management.
perhaps I don't mean any offense, but perhaps I should weigh my options first. I'm not certain I would like to have someone that's sick and might not live to the end of the task guarding me.
Nah, I can do 2 weeks easy.
Sort of looks very concerned. He says, "Do you mind if I could wait perhaps until the end of the day to give you a final answer?"
I mean, technically, I don't have a lot of time left, so I'd prefer you didn't, but I kind of get it.
God damn it.
Yeah, definitely.
I drive a hard
Selling
bargain, I know,
You're
but I'm
selling it.
dying. So.
You're a salesman, man. You are a
I'll
stellar salesman.
I'll think about it then.
I think that
Been
is the right
fast.
response.
He sort of turns around and
Yeah,
looks at you,
no.
Solera, and you can tell that he doesn't know what to think anymore. He's like, "What?" And like he sort of looks over your.
Robin, your drink's getting warm. Come back over here.
Just as she's saying that, Amiko's coming out with a plate of foods for the gentleman.
Could I assume that I am done preparing my spell now?
It has been about 10 minutes, so yes, you're done preparing your spell.
I'll come on downstairs.
All right. You see Silera sitting at a table with this gentleman who has finally taken off his spectacles, put them on top of the book, and seems to be slowly enjoying his meal with the company of Silera.
All right. Well, leave them to that because now I don't know who this guy is. So I'm just gonna go sit next to Red and Robin.
Red, under his breath, will kind of say, "Man, that issue you're sitting with is the one, the other guest. He looks like a priest. He sounds pretty harmless so far."
Hold up, Red. One thing. Silera said that Amiko said that the third guest never came downstairs,
Hadn't come downstairs yet.
which
I
would mean
believe
that
was
that's
the
not
word.
him.
Well,
He
no,
just came
this-
downstairs.
He just
Yeah,
came
he just came.
downstairs.
Oh, I thought
Yeah,
he
we-
just came in from
No,
outside.
he came
No,
he
no,
came
he just
downstairs. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I was
Dorbin-
saying, "Oh, go get him."
Dorbin would turn to Robin and be like, "Then what are you still doing here? Shouldn't you be checking his room?"
I mean, if I were to go up like immediately, that would, draw a little bit of
I
attention.
mean, I could say very loudly, "Hey, could you go grab this out of my room? I forgot it," and then you
I
can go
mean,
search his room.
he's eating now, which was sort of what I was waiting for.
Okay. I'm gonna hand you my holy symbol, and I'm like, "Hey, could you go grab my holy symbol? I forgot it in my room. It should be on the nightstand. I was just using it. I just forgot to pick it up when I left. If you could grab
Sure.
that for me."
Sure,
Give me a bluff check, but it's gonna be at a huge bonus.
Man, this is gonna go real bad.
Ready for that one?
Well,
boy.
while he's doing that, I'm gonna try and distract with my
very
womanly
close.
gaze.
Sure, give me a diplomacy check, Cylera.
Perform oratory.
Yeah, perform oratory.
Yeah?
You're
I thi- I thi-
Diplomacy
sweet.
too?
Yeah, you have.
Diplomacy and
Sweet
it literally says
Oh.
it.
Okay.
It is the two things you excel at. Yeah,
diplomacy.
you sort of put on some womanly charms and are trying sort of to get his attention on you. So it's just, I don't mind to be. That was a weird thing to happen to a priest. I was about to say, I hadn't noticed, but your skin sort of shimmers with light. It's captivating.
Oh,
It
yeah,
is,
I
isn't
forgot
it?
that she has the glitter skin.
That's the whole conversation. You're not wearing makeup?
Fucking
You're shining
avatar.
like a
Right, like a
diamond.
Vampire.
Fucking
I mean, to be
avatar.
fair, she does have a really high charisma, so I'm sure she
Yeah.
just looks good in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, that helps.
Red's got a fucking 14 charisma, and that looks like a garbage truck.
Yeah.
You're just good with your words, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Cylera, he did sort of in passing say that's a weird thing for to happen to a priest, as he was sort of going back to focus on you, and he seems to not mind what's going on, as far as you can tell. And he's sort of looking at you, and like every now and then snaps out of it and goes back to eating his brunch.
Cylera's got a
Enchanted.
boyfriend. Cylera's got a
Um,
boyfriend.
Does it? I don't know if this is like a sense motive kind of thing, but the way that he is kind of like entranced and then snaps out of it, can I tell like
At this point, it's very hard to tell if he was already infatuated with you or he is now. I'll
okay,
put it this
okay,
way.
Okay, that was my question. I just
Yeah.
didn't know how to put it into words.
Because you already tried to get his attention, so now it's very hard to tell. But yeah, I mean, a couple of minutes are gonna go by. In the meantime, Robin, give me a disable device check.
Alrighty. Yikes.
Uh,
I mean, it's an 18. I don't
it's not a very satisfying click. You sort of hear the and you can tell like you scraped some of the mechanism inside, but you managed to unlock the door.
It's literally one of those keys that you can see the room through.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, the door unlocks. You go in. You're trying to check this man's room, right? Was the idea?
Yeah.
Okay. What you find inside is that the room is very neat. It looks like before leaving his room, he did his own bed, which is something that you don't usually do at an inn. The wardrobe seems to be all cleared out. You can tell there's a backpack ready to go beside it. It seems to be freshly packed. Like all the straps are secured and it's sort of already lying in a place where you can easily pick it up. Everything else in the room is sort of like the default empty room that you would find.
Oh yeah, this dude's a serial killer, and Robin's gonna close the door behind him.
There is one thing that is not default to the room, which is a a single sort of candle holder with a burnt out candle, which is a very traditional kind of item to find in the room of someone that prays. And you've obviously seen a similar thing in Dorbin's room.
Okay, so Robin, because he's now becoming, a little bit more sensitive to such matters, Robin's gonna be like, all right, Iomade, this guy's a serial killer. I'm gonna find out. If he's not, pretty sure I just pissed you off by breaking into somebody's room. But hey, I had good intentions. All right? And if I'm not gonna do it, who else is? And he's gonna start searching through the room. But he's gonna make a point to make sure everything is very clean and to go slowly.
Okay.
And he will also, before he starts, he will unlock the window so that he can just leave as fast as he needs to.
Okay. Do you lock the door behind you?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a stealth check. Because you're trying not to leave a trail behind.
Okay.
God damn.
Wow. Okay. You're like a ghost. As you go around the room, you're checking everything. The room has 2 beds. It is one of the larger rooms in the Rusty Dragon. It looks like only one of the beds was used. You can tell like there's a little bit of an impression of the body of this man still in that bed, despite being. They've clearly tried to make the bed, but it seems like it isn't as proficiently as probably Bethana that does the beds here.
That's fair.
It looks like they took a bath yesterday, judging from the sort of still moist inside of the bathtub, the wooden bathtub in one corner. The window was already unlocked and slightly ajar, letting in a little bit of a cool breeze in the early autumn days. Aside from that, the room is sort of like super bare. There are some scratch marks on the ground, but it could be from moving the furniture. It could be from Bethana scrubbing the floor a little bit too hard. It's hard to tell. It's like wear and tear from the room.
From moving what furniture, though?
It looks like the beds were moved and the wardrobe as well.
Okay, Robin will take a look at those. Maybe there's something hidden like behind the wardrobe or like under the bed or something.
Give me a perception check. Actually.
Not bad.
As you're checking under the wardrobe, you don't find anything, and as you go on the opposite side of the room, you lean down and you can see that there's a rather diminutive sized kitten underneath one of the beds, complete pitch black, and its eyes are a beautiful golden as they stare back at you, sort of lazily opening their eyes, and you can see the sort of inner eyelid opening, and you see a little bit of that light from the room reflected back towards you.
Hello, kitty. Cool. Well, yeah, that's all I got.
Right?
Robin's gonna, I guess, sneak out the window and then back into his room instead of going in the hallway.
Okay, just to clarify, it is already like middle of the day. It's about like 11:30 now, and you're walking along the outside of the Rusty Dragon. Is the idea?
Yeah.
There's gonna be people literally on
Yeah.
There are people on the street. Just an FYI.
Take off your shirt first, and it'll make it look like you're trying to sneak out of.
I
Or you
mean,
could
Not
just go out
saying.
the door.
I could blackmail the fuck out of this priest right now. I really could.
Sure could.
I mean, I don't think that it's against his religion to be gay. I don't.
No,
It
just
is
to be
against his
sleeping with
religion to
someone
be
at all.
having.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, okay, that's true.
It's Desna, so I don't think there's any issue with him sleeping with people.
Yeah, she's a free spirit.
yeah, no, all right. I guess I'll take the hallway then.
Okay. As you sort of look out the window and you see that there are quite a few people walking the alleyways, probably heading towards the market. You back down from taking that route, and as you're unlocking again the door with another set of attempts at turning the bolts. You hear again the meowing of the tiny kitten, and you open the door, check outside, and you can, just before you leave and close the door, you can see that the kitten is sort of sitting on the middle of the room and sort of like looking at you and going like, "Here."
I'm gonna wave. I'm gonna say hi. Sorry for bugging you. I'm gonna whisper that, and then I'm just gonna close up and lock it.
Okay. Yeah, that's that. Heading back downstairs, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Alright.
and I'll put the holy symbol on the table in front of Dorbin.
All right.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
I'll take the bluff check that
Might
you did
need it
earlier.
At some point.
What
Yeah.
kind of priest forgets his fucking holy symbol? Jesus, Dolbin.
I mean, I've got one attached to my crossbow as well, just in case, so I'm fine.
Why did you
I like
even
to-
need it then?
Cause if somebody breaks this one, I'm gonna need another one, and I would like to have spares.
Clever.
Do you just carry one weapon on you?
Fair enough.
See, that is
Robin lifts 2 fists. I carry 2.
Oh my god.
I agree with the priest. That is a very clever thing to do. I myself carry 3 holy symbols of destiny on me at all times. Sorry to barge into your conversation.
All right, Dorbin, we need to get you 2 more so you can be better than this fool.
I mean, this is not a
What?
competition.
Sorry. What you say your name was? Mr. Bookman.
Simon. My name is Simon.
Red,
Yours?
pleasure to meet you. I see you've already met Solera. We're part of the rest of her group.
Yeah.
I see. I see you keep a good company then, Celera.
I do.
Red just winks at him.
I don't think he's talking about you.
No, just in the most unsettling way possible.
Oh god.
Yeah, I know, and Dorbin's just being real blunt, like, he's not I don't care what you do. He's not talking about you.
Just let Red do his thing, guy. Just let
The fact that Red is just like passively intimidating does not help.
Yeah.
He's already terrified.
Red
Shaking while he's
party
speaking.
mouth.
Yeah, pretty much.
he's Red is sort of like 2 scars away from looking like Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
that's
just
pretty
need-
much half of our party.
I just need to fight with another demon.
Alright, so he's a little bit awkward receiving that wink, Red, and he was, yes. So, well, perhaps if I could get the help from all of you, I might be able to solve my issues even faster.
And then I'm like, that's what I was saying.
Well, sorry.
We are in the middle of something right now, but give us like a day. I think we might be able to help you, all of us.
I don't know if it'll be that quick, but well, I mean,
Yeah,
what's
I
your
mean-
what's your timeline? When do you need? Like, I heard you saying Magnamar. When do you need to be back there?
I do.
I lived in the city for a while.
Well, I'm sure you're well acquainted with how fast things go in Magmore. I do have a deadline around 3 days from now. Today's Oath Day, right? Yes, today's Oath Day. I need to be in Magnamar by Monday noon. So I do have about 30 days, give and take. My horse can get me there in a day, pushing day and a half. If you were to procure a similar transportation methods, I could delay my departure up until Sunday morning.
Right. Well, I mean,
We should be able to do that. barring
what
any
what what would you
extraordinary
say
circumstances.
your rate for bodyguards was?
Oh, I'm paying 2.5 gold pieces a day.
You see Red's eyes turn into dollar signs, and he's like, "Oh, for sure, we will 100% be able to help you out with that. Not even a question."
Oh, that's wonderful. Can I take you as promise of word for providing these services starting on Sunday?
For myself, certainly, I will not speak for the rest of my companions, but I would assume that they would also become free once we finish our task.
Yeah.
Depends on if I'm still alive or not.
You're
You're
going
gonna be
to
fine.
live longer than that. It's just some weird tattoos, man. Don't worry.
All right.
You're playing it down a little bit. He's being too dramatic, and you're not being dramatic enough. He'll be all right for a while,
Yeah, no.
but
Red
he will
is
eventually die
Red
from
is
this.
trying to cover for the fact that we don't really want to tell the priest that he's being guarded by Demon Boy.
I mean,
He sort of at the fact that you've agreed, he sort of pulls out a small book from inside of his robes, puts it on the table, opens it up, takes out a quail that seems to ever be dripping with just the tiniest amount of ink, and he starts to scribble down some notes on the book.
so that's what a book cleric looks like.
First time ever. What is
Well-
this? What kind of notes is he scribbling?
He's probably
Do you know Celestial?
He's just drawing a big old dick.
so Solera definitely does.
Yes.
She's an Asmar.
Oh, right. It is a native tongue for you. He's taking notes on. He's doing like a journal entry on one page, and on the next page he is sort of drawing a table, noting down the names of the party and sort of making a few math operations to figure out how much money he seems to be available to.
He's making a spreadsheet.
Okay.
Sort of.
gotcha.
He's
I'll
very
let-
a rudimentary spreadsheet for how much money he's going to have to fork over at the end of the month.
I
well-
should have to mention there is one more in our party, our resident magician, Sigis. He's upstairs doing some crafting, but he'd be coming as well.
I could use a mage. You wouldn't know if he happens to know how to locate specific people? I know there are some spells that allow the arcane arts.
Hey, depending
Yep.
on your
locate
material
person is a cleric spell.
possessions,
Yep.
yes.
I
The
do.
answer is yes.
Thank you. Okay. I'll definitely take him if he's available. How do you? What is this mage's name?
Sigismund. Siggy's for short.
I'll note it down as Sigismund then. He scribbles down Sigismund and he starts adding some extra coins to the math.
While he does that, I'm just gonna lean really close to him, and I'm gonna say, if you're having issues with coin, I'm sure there's other ways that you can repay me, and then I'm gonna wink it.
Oh,
Oh.
Give me a diplomacy check.
My God.
perform oratory.
Sorry, Robin kind of wants to cock block her a little bit. Be like, Silera,
Ooh.
the fuck?
He sort of he sort of looks at you, Robin, who's sort of breaking the apparent enchantment that he was about to fall into. He says, I do not have trouble with coin, but I appreciate the offer. I will make sure that payment is due. And he sort of turns away from looking at you, Solera, and looks
At
at.
this point,
leaves
Dorman will be a
out.
wingman and be like, maybe it's a bonus later on.
Give me, Dorman. Give me
My
a.
man. My
Give
man.
me.
Don't make me do this.
Give me a diplomacy check.
Do it.
You're
Here we go.
pimping off.
Easy clap.
Yes!
Done.
So, you say maybe it's a bonus later on, and he goes like, I will take it into. No, I mean I will keep it. No, I will. And you can tell that he's turning a little bit of a deeper shade of red. I appreciate the sentiment. I will. I prefer to keep things professional.
Solera, leave
Yeah.
him alone. You know, some people don't play for the same team.
He just snaps the book close. He puts it back into his clothes. He was like,
Probably should have let the ink dry. That you just messed up already.
it is one of the
I'm not a book
beauties.
clear, I don't know what I'm talking about.
It-
Don't worry about it.
No. It is one of the beauties of using magical equipment to write in your books. I highly recommend that you get. And like as he's speaking, he's leaving just the tiniest bit of his meal unfinished, and he's already standing up and says, But I do appreciate your concern. I will be seeing you on Sunday morning, I hope. Like, he's trying to get away from this conversation as fast as possible.
Can I just, while he's doing this, based on all I've heard from the conversation, can I roll kind of a
Sense motive? Go ahead.
sense motive? Yeah.
Go ahead.
Because I think this is the conversation coming to an end, and I just kind of want to
Yeah, no.
roll to help shore up what I'm thinking.
Sure.
Never mind.
You are completely unaware whether he was already embarrassed, whether he took your advances honestly and was further embarrassed, or he didn't care about them at all. It is.
Okay, anyway.
It is hard to tell. He was already pitch red as a goddamn tomato.
As red as your roll.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was bad. Alright. Red-
I would like to
Red-
know, out of character, that locate creature is a 4th level spell that we do not have access
Yeah,
to.
there's no way I can cast that.
No, not locate creature. I was, if he has something of the persons, then we can potentially do another locate,
I will point this out, because you were there, you lived there for quite a while, Red. Magnamore stretches for about 17 to 18,000 feet in diameter.
No, I don't mean, oh, yeah.
It is a ginormous city.
Yeah, looking for something there might be something else, but whatever.
Yeah.
Also, when in doubt, like, necromancy and divination are the schools that I'm really bad at.
Yeah, well, we've also got the cleric too, so we can potentially work something out. Plus,
I don't have access to any kind of locate person spells until like 8th and 9th level.
okay, never mind.
I'm
I
books,
have locate
he's cleric.
object, but that's the extent of it.
Well, I mean, if
locate
there is something that like this dude's armor that we know about, like if we're happening to look for that anyway.
Yeah, like,
I'm assuming he's left at this point.
Yeah, he's out of the building.
Okay.
And Scry is a 5th level spell, so it's gonna be a long time before we get to that point.
Red will kind of look at the others and be like, well, I don't know what the read on him was, but based on what he was saying, I don't think he's a guy. He seems pretty up and down.
Yeah, I mean he seemed pretty fine.
Yeah,
Although we
I
should
did a
defin-
sense motive on him before my flirtation, and he seemed pretty genuine. So I don't think he's a guy.
We should definitely keep an eye out for his friend, though. another missing person is a clue that we could
What-
use.
What was his name?
Simon.
Ruben.
I know
Yeah,
it hit-
Ruben.
Ruben.
I was
I
like,
wrote it
it's
down.
a sandwich.
Yeah, it's Ruben Ton. He has the long black hair with eagle on his armor.
Okay.
That's how you spell it.
Alright, thank you.
Oh,
Sorry, no, it's that.
Rhubarb.
Ruben
Rhubarb.
Taran.
Ruben Taran.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, so that's another thing we can be looking for while we're going around. Especially another missing person coming up from Magnamar. I mean, we could check off the side of the road. It might be something to look for if we're running out of clues later.
I mean, I don't remember specifically, but weren't we like kind of on the road to Magnamar when we went to
Well, that's what I
the
was
demon?
thinking. If it was one of the guys
People
from
in the warehouse?
Cougar Creek, but I didn't recognize the eagle armor or the
Nah.
long black hair.
That didn't match anybody from the warehouse, right?
No, I don't think so. Did it?
No, not at all. I will move you to the map
Alright.
just so that you can see a little bit better. Cougar Creek is on the to get to Cougar Creek. You guys went on the road to Magnamar and then took a detour around the eponymous Cougar Creek, which is the river. However, Magnamar is really far away from here still.
Yeah, I would be saying more just like, searching the area down around to the point by where the pass is by the pyre on the map would kind of be as far as you'd probably need to poke around, maybe down to the swamps by the Ashen Moor. But just that's a later thing. We have people that we can talk to for now.
Okay.
So should we, the two adventurers that I had spoke to that had left, do you think they should also be taken in consideration and kind of in the back of our mind while we're questioning people that are in prison?
Yeah, for
just
sure.
kind
The one adventure you saw, the big one. Did you say he had like claws or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Was
that's
it-
something to consider too.
Was it actual claws or did you just have long nails?
As far as I understand, they were kind of claw-like.
I mean, the some of the different types of people around have claws. Like I've seen people like Zix with demon blood that have bloody talons, but it's definitely something not many people have. So he's definitely on the list. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, are we gonna go back up and grab Sigus?
Oh yeah, before we
We got another hour yet until he's done crafting.
At this point, it would be around 30 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright, got another half hour until he's about done crafting.
all right. Well, I mean, why don't we shoot the shit, grab some lunch, and then go to the prison?
You guys haven't had breakfast today,
Oh,
and it's almost lunchtime. Yeah.
brunch,
Listen,
brunch.
brunch, mimosas,
Darwin will
mimosas.
finish off of Simon's plate and then ask for another one.
Okay.
You would.
Red
No
is
point
having
letting the
a
food go to waste.
classic liquid breakfast.
All right. So, Sigus, by the time that you come downstairs with a freshly minted locate object scroll in your hand, you find all of your friends sitting around a table enjoying themselves with a rather hearty brunch. A spot
I would've
open.
gotten Sigus a plate as well.
Yeah. A spot open on the table with a plate ready for you, with what now is slightly lukewarm scrambled
I wanna try to
eggs
time
and
it
sausages.
properly, not since we roughly know how long it takes them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
Miko,
not trying to
Miko's a
time it properly.
professional. She could time that shit.
Yeah. I mean, they're still like lukewarm. They're not like cold.
I guess that she's not gonna. Yeah, alright, that makes sense.
She was going to prepare everything together. That's the point. Yeah. So Sigis, you have your locate object scroll, and there's food for you.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna start eating, and while in between eating, I'm basically gonna explain. They're like, so the way this works is you're gonna have to picture the item, which is as he will refer to it, that has been taken.
Red's just fucking giggling in the background.
You're gonna have to cast this spell, and he's gonna cover, but don't do it right now, because once it goes off, it's only gonna last about 6 minutes or 5 minutes. And if basically the way it works is if the item, as long as it's not really protected, you'll know which directions it's going, and you'll always know the direction. And so, if it's within, I don't know, 550 feet or something like that. So if it's outside of this range, we kind of got no dice. So I was thinking, we have a horse. We could start where we think it might be, and do a quick ride through town. And if they're not, and then they'll tell us it's either in town or not. But we should take a look at a map and pick an area kind of in the center, or and be ready to move quickly, because this will we'll only have one short window, and I can't do this again until tomorrow. But I can also do this again tomorrow.
Okay.
So,
Go ahead.
Out of character, my companion horse that I have,
Yeah.
I haven't.
would not trust the murder machine to this.
It's a war horse. I would definitely trust the murder machine.
Well, I guess my question is, am I at a point where I would be able to ride her, now? Like, do I have enough?
You have familiarized yourself with night mist. Hang on, pretty sure Shadow Mist.
Shadow.
I was like, it wasn't night
Shadow
mist. Shadow Mist. You have familiarized yourself with Shadow Mist to the point where you're in friendly terms. She gets pretty excited whenever she sees you coming to feed her in the morning. You're pretty confident that if you were to go into combat, she would protect you, as she has been trained to. And she does help as much as she can whenever you're riding her to try and stay steady.
Okay.
How's Ajit doing?
Ajit seems to be
dinosaur.
Yeah, Ajit seems to be very depressed. They have been lacking an appetite for the past 3 days. They eat the bare minimum. You can tell that they're sort of leather and bones, and they seem to be pretty lacking in energy. But they seem to respond to the training that Celera has been trying to give them.
That's unfortunate.
So where?
So people know how it works.
Yep.
Do we
Just-
have a key for this map?
That seems like a pretty damn good idea. This thing
Oh.
with the horse.
Actually, let me do a actual. What's times 10? So that's gonna be easy. Oops.
I mean, I say we just pretty much like do a lap around the city real quick.
Well, before we do that, I was going to suggest we see if we
Well,
can get any more clues
the
out of the two jailbirds. Because
Yeah,
if we
because
can
we may be able to like kind of triangulate exactly.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
exactly.
true.
Narrow it down.
And we don't have to
first
try
then
and-
pop off the spell.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The entirety of the city is about 1,300 feet across. It is now to scale.
So if we did
Wow.
it like,
You could literally just run through the middle real quick, and you'd be good. You get the entire city easy.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
it's
start it like on Main Street and Tower Street and just run up towards one gate and then run up towards the other, and you'll hit the whole thing.
Main and what? Oh, tower.
Main and tower,
Yeah.
which is
Yes. Tower?
right between the garrison and the mayor's office.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and then just move up and down to get the rest of it, and that'll
Yeah.
tell us quick if it's in town. If it is, we head
Oh
for it.
right,
If it's
it's
not,
radius.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah, you got a good what, 520 feet? I think is literally exactly how far you got.
Yeah.
So,
then it's minimum caster level or whatever Siggy's is crafting it at.
He can craft it at higher level if he wanted to.
Where
that's
where
I
are
true.
we?
can only
current-
craft it at my level though, can't
yeah.
I?
At your
No,
level.
At your level is
Yeah.
the cap, but it also becomes more expensive because it's
Yeah.
caster level times spell level times 25 GB, I think. So if you
Yeah, so-
craft it at level 5, it would be 125 instead of 25.
Yeah, so
where
you
are
can like
we,
craft high level scrolls and stuff. Sorry, what were you saying?
where are we currently located? Are we 27?
You are on 37
Yeah, 30.
on Market
So
Street and Salmon
Oh.
Street, all the way down.
Gotcha. Okay, so
I did craft
You're-
this at my
Oh.
best level, and I'll just take that from my share or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, if we're gonna do this, I figured to make it work.
Yep,
so I was thinking.
it's 600 feet radius then.
Yeah, well, the main thing is the time, right? Like,
Yep.
I wanted us to
Yep,
have the
yep, yep,
time
yep.
to.
How
Yeah.
much longer does that give us?
5 minutes.
So like
Yeah.
a minute. Well, I guess we can do like
Yeah,
a minute
it's a
per
minute per
level.
Yeah, if it's because if
It's
it's a
5
minute per level and you've increased the level, then it's going to be a little bit longer.
Yeah, it is 5
Okay,
minutes total.
So
Celera, go
Okay,
ahead.
My-
5 minutes.
my thoughts were going west on Market Street, going north on Main Street, east on Tower, kind of wrap up
All right.
and
So because of the radius of it, you literally can just go up Main Street. Like just this, run this, you're good.
It
you
will
get the entire town.
Yeah, it will cover
Yeah,
the entire town if you do that.
Just
Yeah, because it's
yeah,
like
we would just cast it right at the top.
oh,
of
because it's
main
radius.
and
Sorry,
run
Yeah.
I'm thinking diameter, not radius.
You probably
I
could
was
stand
doing
in the
that too.
center of town and almost get literally everything.
Yeah, so I could literally take.
But
Yeah, I could take.
you wouldn't get
like
like
start more over here, like because the
yeah.
the mill was where, like around here.
The mill's number
Or
32.
was it?
Number 32.
Yes,
Right there.
right on it.
And
Mhm.
where? and where's
I've
the?
got a good idea of the map now. So
And where's the stables?
The stables, you have the stables in the tiny spot
Oh.
inside of
Okay.
the Rusty Dragon. Those are the stables that are part of the Rusty Dragon. There's also another stable in the mess that is Salmon Street and what is it? Whisker Street? Yeah, Whisker Street. And then there's another stables on the north end of town.
yeah.
Okay.
The one that we caved in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. Well, let's go talk to these jailbirds and get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to talk to the jailbirds first?
Yeah. Also, I'm still on team individual interviews just in case they
yeah.
happen to have worked on something together.
Pretty confident it's not, but
No,
I
but
agree.
I mean,
I agree.
double check.
All right. In that case, who's interrogating who as you come to the garrison and you're well received by Sheriff Baylor? He does ask if you guys have any updates.
nothing really yet.
Okay.
I mean, do we want to provide any
no-
updates?
Do you want a detailed update or do you just want a general update?
Do you have any kind of break in the case? Do you have any?
Not really, no.
Okay.
No, I mean we found some tracks going off out of the mill, but we lost them on the edge of the wood. You could try to send your ranger there, see if they can pick them up.
I'll see if Shalelu is around and we can get some help from her then.
You're also looking for someone in bare feet. Also maybe with claws. I don't know.
Right, a monster then. I'll put a word out then. You're all right. Okay. I'll try to keep that all in mind. You're here for the two suspects, right?
Indeed. You
Real
talk.
quick, you're not opposed to me casting Zone of Truth in here, right?
He sort of gestures with the hand, dismissively with his hand. It's all right.
Have you talked to them or gotten anything out of them already that we should know?
Haven't really cracked. Vin is a little bit of a friend. I know he's grieving. He's in grief for his daughter, so we've given him a little bit of a soft, gloved approach. And Ivor has been a little bit of hard not to crack. He's in shock, I think. But I've been keeping them separated and hoping that you guys would come.
Perfect.
Good. All right. I need to go talk to Kendra, so you are my deputies. I'm leaving you in charge for the time being. Just wait for me to come back before you depart from the garrison.
All right.
He sort of hands Dorbin a little booklet that has a little bit of a ledger of the goings on in the garrison.
Appreciate it.
Yep. And he sort of goes out the main door and towards the building across the street.
Well, never in my life would I have expected to come in here again and be on the right side of the cells.
As opposed to the wrong side. Or the
Yeah.
left side.
I mean the side that you can't let yourself out of normally.
All right. So who's interrogating whom?
The out of character, the one thing I will say is Red can be very effective at interrogating people. We should not get him to interrogate anyone who we want to be friendly to the party.
And Robin's not beating up an old man. So
I can
I
be in
figured-
with the old man.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
figured it would be me and Silera in with the old man,
Yeah.
and then you guys, if you guys want to take Ivor,
Yeah.
we don't. It's not that big of a deal if you rough him up.
Yeah, he'll be fine. We'll
Yeah,
appeal to his sadness.
and I mean,
Manipulate him mentally.
if the other thing is, and we can kind of be discussing this beforehand, is if ours doesn't go well or yours doesn't go well, like, and we feel that they like sense motive into that they're holding something out, we can send the other group in,
Yeah.
kind of good cop, bad cop it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Deal.
All right.
All right. No, I am going to hold off on Zone of Truth until we get a feel for how they're answering. If somebody seems to be lying, I will save it for that person. Because
Okay.
I only got a few minutes with it, so I don't want to blow my wad before we can actually use it.
All right.
So, do we want to? Are we going in at the same time with people and then spending a certain amount of time coming back out, reconvening, and
Yeah.
going from there?
Probably. Yeah.
Do you want to give each other 5 minutes? Like, give a 5-10 minutes?
Let's do 10 minutes.
Okay, and then in 10 minutes, meet back out here, and then we can assess what we know and all that stuff, and then go back in.
All right.
Quick question.
Gotcha.
Yes. Go ahead.
Do you want one person to stay in there, so they're not like? I'm just thinking about like
Well,
if we all leave.
There'll be each one of them would be alone in whatever room that we're doing this in.
Luckily for you, there are exactly 2 interrogations rooms in the garrison.
Perfect.
One in each of the towers.
Okay, gotcha.
So the interrogation room has a lock and key, and we'll have guards around, so it's not like they're going to be able to get
Yeah.
out or anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I don't think either of them are going to run. If they do, I mean, that just makes you look guilty. I don't.
Right. Yeah. You're right. Okay. Deal. Let's do this.
Okay. So once again, I ask, who's interrogating whom?
Yeah, I think Red and Robin are on team Ivor.
Red Robin.
And
Yeah.
then we got the breakout team of Dorban and Stylera, aka the nice guys.
Oh,
On
which one is
Vin.
Sigus going with? Let's send Sigus with Red and Robin.
Yum.
Yeah, that might be a good idea. Have someone who knows something about something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. So, Red Robin on Ivor and no one else, right?
Red Robin Sigus.
Oh, Sigas.
On
Okay.
Ivor.
Red Robin Sigas on Ivor. Okay. So, let's start with that group, and then we'll go over to Venvinder. As you are brought by one of the guards to the interrogation room, as they have prepared in the meantime Ivor for the questions. He's sitting on one side of a desk. You can see that his hands are handcuffed to the table itself, and he's sort of sitting a little bit slouched. His head is down. He's sort of looking at his hands. His face and his shirt are still stained with blood, and it's very clear that it has dried up at this point. And as you come in, he sort of looks towards you, blinks a couple times very slowly, and looks back at his hands, a little bit dazed looking. So, how do you approach this?
Red's gonna hold off doing much talking until Robin and Sigus start things off. He's just gonna kind of stand in the back on the wall, maybe eating an apple or something.
Slowly intimidating the target.
Exactly.
Crunch.
Just sitting there, watching him. He won't start a conversation until the other two get settled and get started.
Okay. What about the other two? Red Sigus. Oh, sorry, Robin Sigus. Any approach?
Robin's just gonna go up to the guy, sort of gauge how he's feeling, like with a sense motive, because he could be like immediately aggressive. Not really sure. Yeah.
Okay. Sort of looks at you. Blinks a couple times very slowly.
All right. Robin's gonna put a hand on his shoulder and be like, "How you doing, man?"
He sort of flinches when you put the hand on his shoulder and he goes, "I'm doing all right. I think I kind of want to go home and wash. There's so much blood."
I think we can get someone to give you like a bucket and some warm water and a towel. We can get you washed.
Thank you.
So it's my understanding that the guys here have been hounding you a little bit.
No, not really. They asked a couple questions, but I mean, I answered what I know, but
You mind going through what you told them again for us? We're part of the secondary group that they're bringing in to work on this.
yeah.
The investigators, you might say.
Yeah, I woke up early morning as I always do. I had breakfast at home. I was running a little bit late, so I sort of took off with with my a mug of coffee in my hand.
Sorry, were you having breakfast at your house or at a tavern?
At my home.
And your home is...
It's at the end of the Rusty Nail Alley.
Alright.
It's right behind the theater. I was saying, I headed out with my coffee in hand, and I was sort of doing the usual, just walking to the sawmill, and streets were pretty empty, and got there, and I could smell something was off. Sort of.
Before you got there, sorry to keep interrupting, but the details are important. Did you happen to hear anything specifically? Like anything out of the ordinary? I know the mill would have been running, but
No,
perhaps some music or something odd like that?
No, the only thing I could hear was the grinding of the sawmill, and there was that sound, that wet sound. Oh God.
Oh.
Still trying to reach to cover his ears with both hands, and he's sort of tugging at the chains.
So it happened just before, while you were on your way, then, is what you're saying?
What?
No, Red. No.
I don't know. I just look. I opened the door. It was a little bit weird that it was still locked. Usually, Harkin, he unlocks the door and he's waiting by the door when we switch shifts. So maybe I knew that there was something off, and when I opened the door, it was just like blood everywhere. Like it was still running. I could see her face getting slowly churned by the gears. Oh, and it splashed on me. Do I still have blood in my face?
A little
Robin will wipe the blood off of his face and then say no.
Oh God. Oh, where was that smell? It smelled like they left fish to rot for days. Oh God.
Have you ever smelled anything like that before?
The market, maybe.
I have.
The day after market day. Does it matter?
Yes.
Does.
No. Yes. Fish. It smelled like rotten fish.
Robin will sort of like lean over to Red and be like, "That's what that well smelled like. Real bad."
Well, Robin, we've been through this. Just leave it for now.
I went upstairs and I found that. Look, I thought it was Harkin, and I went upstairs and then I found him impaled to the wall. I tried to stop the machine, but his arm was sort of stuck in there. I sort of I think I was shouting. I can't remember.
Based on the crowd, I would say you were shouting quite loudly.
Yeah, I sort of looks down at the table in his hands, and he's sort of scratching underneath his nail, trying to get the dry blood from underneath the nail. And it's like,
Can someone roll a sense motive for me, just on what he's saying so far? I'm trying to get a vibe of whether he's putting on this whole in shock act or whether this seems legit.
sure.
Nah, he seems legit.
Can
Well, no, but I think he seems legit, but I don't know how good Bosun is making him of an actor.
Oh, thank you. That means that you're praising my acting.
Yes.
Sort of. Can someone roll on Red's sheet for me?
Sense motive isn't great, but
Yeah.
anyway.
I'll roll a d20 and see if it matters.
Sure.
It matters. I think he gets a 20, honestly.
It's +4. My
Yeah,
Okay.
he gets a 20.
Okay. He seems genuinely in shock, and he seems to be, as he's telling the story, he's sort of reliving it, and he seems to be getting a little bit anxious at the same time. So yeah, he's sort of scratching the dry blood from underneath his nails, and he's like, after that, I've run out and called the guards. I think that's it. And then I was taken in.
Well,
Okay.
I'm sure you understand being taken in. You were the first witness to the murders. We do have a few more questions that we're going to need to ask before we can begin getting your paperwork sorted and get you out of here.
Sure.
They all relating to the deceased and your relation with them, as well as some other people around town. Are you going to be able to handle that?
I'll try and help as much as I can.
All right. Just keep in mind that the more information you give us, the more likely it is that we're going to be able to find whoever did this to them.
Sure. I think I've said everything I know, but if you have any questions, go ahead.
All right. Red will kind of look at Robin and Sigus and see if they have anything that they want to ask before he starts.
I don't know.
I would like to see, like, if there's anything, if I can just see what I know about him, like, if I can see if he had any colorful events in the
Knowledge
past that he
local?
might have.
Yeah, I mean,
If I can squeeze my brain. If not, that's okay.
I mean, you are a local. Roll me a knowledge local as well.
And not that like this would like anything like this, but just
He's pretty unremarkable as far as citizens in Sandpoint go. You know that he works for the Scarnetti. You know that the Scarnettis are sort of a very rich noble family in town, and they've recently come into a very good fortune because literally all of the sawmills but theirs burnt down a couple of years back. About the same time the cathedral burnt, the fire sort of spread during the following days. And since then they've been making a shitload of money out of their sawmill.
That sounds like motive if I've ever heard.
I guess the only thing Sigus would ask would be like, if you could think back to like before you went in and all of this all went terribly, is there anything you noticed that was out of the ordinary? The little things could be like we'll investigate every little thing, and that could turn out to be helpful.
Okay. Give me a diplomacy check. Sigus?
Red will aid if it's a thing you can do.
I sort of looks down, taps his fingers together and says, "Look, can I?" Looks to the door. Says, "Look, I know that you probably figured it out already, but Harkin and Catherine, they were seeing each other. I was trying to keep it down low and cover for them, but look, I know Van Vinter, and I know that he's very he's easy to get mad, to infuriate, and I did see him a couple times, sort of lurking about, trying to catch who Catherine was seeing. But aside from that, I don't recall anything out of the ordinary. And don't get me wrong, I don't think that Ven did anything. He's very violent, but I don't think he's capable of doing what I saw.
So you're saying that Catherine and Harkin were seeing each other, but Harkin thinks that maybe she was seeing somebody else?
No, they were sort of like he was sort of trying to save some money to buy a wedding ring for her. They were trying to elope.
Okay.
Pretty sure they were pretty serious about it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I didn't really know Harker all that well. We worked together and we had drinks when we could outside of work, but all he really talked about when he could was about Catherine. His eyes would sort of light up.
Okay.
Red's gonna cut in at this point. Yeah, on that, you not spending that much time with Harkin, and someone out of character, someone correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe we had heard that those two were attached at the hip. This guy and Harkin.
No.
Sort of. What the rumor goes around is that whenever they are seen, they were seen together.
Okay, but so does that line up with what he's saying right now? Because it doesn't. Like, if he's saying they don't spend that much time together, but
up to you how you interpret it. Because one thing is a rumor, and then that there's what he's saying.
From what it sounds like, he's saying that like when he did spend time with Harkon, it was Harker.
Yeah, Harker.
It was like he was spending time with him. Sure, he's not saying what they were doing, but he is saying that he was always talking about Catherine when they were together.
Yeah. Okay.
So whether or not they were doing the dirty or just having drinks as coworkers, like that's not really what
it's not
through.
really. Yeah, it's not necessarily pertinent either, but okay. Yeah, Red will still cut in. All right. On that note, I know it's idle gossip and all that, but you and Haka almost always seen together when you're having drink stuff. There was even a rumor going around for a while that you two was an idol, but that doesn't sound like it's true. If what you're saying is with him and Catherine.
No, there's sort of gives a little bit of a. It looks like a melancholic smile. Just now, we I guess you could say we were friends. I work from morning to night, and he works from night to morning. So we would have a little bit of coffee, maybe a drink, whenever we switched the shift back to each other. And aside from that, I don't really go out that much. I don't think Harker did either. So.
Can someone roll a sense motive on that for me?
$19.
Sweet.
Plus 4.
You get the feeling like he's 19
total. He already had
Yeah.
plus 4.
Oh, he already did. Okay, perfect.
You get the feeling like maybe he's holding a little bit back. Like he has a little bit of a constrained expression in his face.
That melancholy look.
Yeah.
And Red will kind of look at him with that and be like, I'll get it, man. Sometimes they don't see the thing the same way you see the thing, but we're gonna try and make this right, alright? We want to find who's responsible for this. They're both young, they had a lot to live for in the town and awful. So we'll try to keep it brief. But you don't. You already said that this would be beyond the anger of her father if he'd found out, right?
Yeah, no, I don't think Ven would do anything like that. I mean, he's punched the odd man out that gets him across when he's had a couple drinks, but and like he's got a mean left hook, but murder
So,
is murder is not really down his aisle.
I know we found that Kath wearing promise. Who else would have known about that relationship? I think anyone else that might have been concerned about it.
Um, I I I knew about it. Harker did mention it. He did get a couple. He did pay a pretty money for it.
You got a lovely inscription on the inside too.
Yeah, he told me about it. I don't think Catherine wore it outside of the sawmill.
Ah, okay.
I think last time that I saw them, Catherine forgot to. Well, I think she fell asleep at the sawmill, and I think Harker had just given that ring to her that night.
She might have forgotten to take it off.
I don't know. It was 2 nights ago.
I mean,
okay, so not the night of the murder.
You said that Harker was rather easy to anger, though, right?
No, that's her
Ven
dad.
Vinder is the one that is
Okay.
doing it.
Okay. But Harker is rather lax.
Harker's
was-
the dead guy, right?
Yes, out of character. Yes, in character. If you ask about Harker's character, no, because Robin did ask about Harker's character.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, he was mellow. He was easy to get along with. Sort of never. You could never really tell that he had any kind of preoccupation in life.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think I've got the questions answered that I need answered. Aside from the fact that you were not, to be honest, the only one who had heard about something happening, perhaps between Arca and Catherine. I mean, it's a small town, right? And you see someone going and coming from the sawmill enough, you're going to put two and two together. So, do you think anyone else would have had something out against it, either of them?
I don't know.
I mean, you know Harker better than most.
I guess. I mean, Catherine was a lovely girl. She had the looks. I can't imagine anyone going that far over a girl, but it could be someone acted out of jealousy and maybe things got out of hand.
And just one last thing. I know you mentioned where you were on the way to work, and that you'd been running a little late, getting in and bringing your coffee from home. That you before that you spent your entire night at your house. Do you want? Happen to go out or anything?
No. I stayed home last night. I don't usually go out, and when I do, it's usually to get something for breakfast the next morning, or grab something early in the afternoon, just after work.
All right. You got any? And I'm I mean, this is just covering our bases. But would anyone be able to vouch for your story aside from yourself? I don't honestly believe you've done anything. It's just procedure at this point. Make sure all the stories check out.
No, I was home alone.
You see anyone on your walk into work or when you were going home? Any neighbors that we could talk to?
Lisa was out in the morning because I think she had already opened the bakery at that hour. So after that, I don't think I saw anyone.
Okay, well, one person's better than no people, so we'll follow up on that. But I don't have any more questions for you, unless the others do.
I mean, I just want to know if there's anything that you want us to know.
Give me a diplomacy check.
No. Roll the 4.
I mean, I don't know. I've been working a lot lately. I'm just tired. I just want to go home, you know. Are we
Can I
done?
sense motive that?
Sure, you can sense motive.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably is holding something back from the pained expression in his face, but it's hard to tell that apart from actual genuine tiredness.
All right, well, now's your chance. The sooner we know, the sooner we can do something about it. If there's nothing that you want us to know, then there's nothing that you want us to know.
And Riddle, after he sees the response from this, he may have something to say.
No, it's not relevant to what happened. Just doesn't really matter anymore.
That might not be true.
Fine. Harker was... Look, the Scarnetti don't really pay us all that well. Harker was trying to save some money to to take Catherine out of this town. They were talking about moving to Magmore, and Harker was skimming some money off the top of the rent from the sawmill.
Okay.
Look, I don't want to dirty his memory.
We that will not leave this room.
I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at the fact that, there's obviously something very bad happening here. I'm laughing at the fact that of all the people in the world that you could actually trust with that, it's probably us. Yeah, we're not going to let anybody know. Trust me.
Okay. Now that I think about it, the Lord Scornetti did complain about rent going being a little bit down this month, but I mean, it wasn't that much money that we were short of. I think it was like...
Well, we can talk to Scarnetti, but we'll talk around this issue.
Yeah, we'll see if they want to tell us something as well. And yeah, we'll see exactly what's going on here. I personally don't think that Harker was necessarily in any sort of wrong. However, it's clear that somebody had it out for that couple. So we'll see what we can do about getting you some warm water and a towel, maybe something comfy. And we'll see what we can do about getting you out of here a little bit faster.
Okay, thank you.
Also, Sigis, I have some questions for you as well. Not about this, but about this. So I think we're good. let's go see what the other guys have for us.
All right. And with that, we'll switch over to Dorban and Silera.
All
Who's
right.
fucking out here, dude?
Let's
Alright.
do it.
So, you guys are led to the other end of the garrison, and as the door opens, you find a very pissed off, mid-40s man that looks about as wide as he is tall, and he is not a short person. And he does have a little bit of blood still sticking to his knuckles. And he seems to be still like very agitated. And as you come in, he sort of slams the one hand on the table and says, "Fucking finally! Are you? Can I go now? Are you still gonna treat me like this after I lose a daughter?"
I sympathize with what you're going through, and we want to get you out of here as quickly as we possibly can. But we need to ask you some questions before we can do that.
Perfect. Perfect. Now I'm supposed to be some kind of criminal that would kill his own daughter. Fuck! Finally! Just ask the questions.
The reason why we are asking these questions is so that we can help figure out who did this and why they did this, so that we can bring that person to justice for your daughter.
I get it. Just ask the questions.
So, what do you know about that day?
Just want to explain this. I was out in the streets. I was looking for Catherine because she didn't come back last night. So I assumed she was out and about again. Probably with that piece of shit Harker. So I went to the sawmill, and sure enough, I saw his little buddy bathed in blood. So I assumed the worst, and I lost control and punched the shit out of him. Well, after that, I got handcuffed and brought here. So that's about it.
What do you mean you lost?
What do you mean? What do I mean? Fucking punched him in the face. I'm pretty sure.
Out of character.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I knocked him out with one hit. And that I'm pretty sure I also punched one of the guards. Fucker was still holding onto a strand of her hair. Like, he's visibly fuming, and then suddenly he just slams both fists onto the table, and you can hear it sort of creak under the blow. Just
out of character.
Yeah.
Clarifying question.
Yeah.
He punched him.
From what you get from the story, probably outside of the meal, because
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
At what time did that happen?
Fucking morning. When would it have happened?
We're trying to establish a timeline so we know roughly the time of events, so we can kind of narrow down the window that they were there.
Somewhere between 8 and 9 a.m.
Thank you.
Useless people.
Do you have any idea who could have done this?
Piece of shit Harkin, probably. Or his friend Iber, I don't know. One of them. Yeah. Yeah, good for
Why do you
nothings.
say that?
What do you mean why I say that? It's the only two people who were there, and he fucking stepped out of the sawmill holding a piece of her. What am I supposed to make out of it?
I'm just checking to see if you have anything other than that. I
No.
mean, there's a reason that he is also currently being detained.
Well, I forgot reason.
How was your relationship with your?
Oh shit! Give me a diplomacy check. Just give me a diplomacy check. You don't ask that question.
Oh my god. Ugh.
He just looks at you, and you can tell that if he was in handcuffs, and like you hear the chains rattle as he sort of almost stands up, and you hear the table sort of screech as it shifts slightly. And you can tell that he would have crossed you with a really strong right hook if he wasn't tied down to the table. How fucking dare you ask that question? He slams the table down.
What do you mean, how dare us?
Fucking dare you ask if I had a good relationship with my daughter? Of course I had a good relationship. He was my daughter! And then he slams the table again.
What I'm asking is, was your relationship with your daughter?
No, give me 1 sec, guys.
Shit, maybe we should have switched. Jesus.
I thought that someone had knocked on my door because I was doing too much, like speaking very strongly, and it was actually the neighbor coming back. Sorry. What was the question you were doing, Celeria?
My clarifying question was that I can tell by how angry that you are that you love your daughter. But I am wanting to clarify if she ever came to you about anybody that she was worried about, or anybody that may have hated her or had a vendetta against her. And in your relationship, did she ever come to you about that kind of being concerned or scared?
He sort of he's one second, like sort of huffing, but a little bit calmer this time. He's sort of rubbing the bottom of his hands and goes like, "No, no, she never came to me about that. It was the kind of thing that she talked to. She talked to my wife about. Maybe I was a little bit too angry whenever we approached those topics."
I don't think that you were angry. I am kind of sensing that you're just very protective and wanting to make sure that she's safe. And the anger seems to be out of concern.
Yeah, I was always concerned for them.
Yeah. It's understandable. You're a father. You're trying to protect your family. I completely understand.
Yeah.
Know that we're just trying to get as much information as we can so that we can solve this as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not sure if you've heard of us at all, or I mean, we failed to introduce ourselves, so I apologize.
No,
This is Silera, and I am Dorban. And we've been around recently, deputized, so they're having us take point because we have been reliable in the past. So we're hoping to continue that streak and continue to deliver results here in Sandwood.
Oh yeah, I know about you. I heard you were good people. Vanessa didn't has been talking about you a lot. She says she wants to grow up to be as pretty as you, Celera, and I get what she means.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, don't we all?
He sort of you managed to get a little bit of a half a smile out of him, and you can tell that his eyes are teary. And he's sort of like almost like cooing himself to calmness as he sort of keeps rubbing one hand with the other.
You mentioned her mother.
Yeah.
Your wife.
Yeah, my dearest wife. What about her?
Has she mentioned anything about the things that she had come to her about? Any concerns about being scared or somebody being angry with her
No,
or not liking her or anything like that?
no. We, I do ask her about those kind of things, but she would tell me if something like that were happening. But otherwise, she tried to keep things between the girls.
And how was her relationship with her? Were they close? Did they talk about things like that?
She was inseparable with her. They were. I don't think there were any secrets kept between them. Well, maybe Harkin, a piece of shit.
And would your other daughter come to you if there was something that she was concerned about?
She did come to me once about a man that wouldn't stop pestering her. She she wasn't. She was a little bit afraid, I think, and well, that was the last time that I was in one of these cells.
And who was that?
Some I can't remember. He was one of those adventurer types. They were staying in town for one of the festivals. I think it was almost last year about this time. Harvest festival. A lot of booze running around, and maybe I had also had a few drinks.
Was there any memorable things about this man that was pursuing your daughter too heavily?
Varisian. Probably. He was a lot older than Catherine. He was getting into his 30s probably. He did have a distinctive sort of cross scar on his forehead. I sort of extended it a little bit down his eye.
This may be a really weird question, but did he have any instruments with him?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I can't remember. It was a year ago.
Yeah, no, that's understandable.
You're
and
gonna.
you had a confrontation with him?
Yeah, Catherine came to me crying, saying that the man had followed her all the way to the shop. So I came out with one of the knives that we had recently purchased, and he sort of gestures over the right eye and says, I opened him a new one.
And so that was the last time that you were in here.
Yeah, I was brought in for drunkenly disorder.
Was he brought in as well?
No, I think he was taken to the infirmary, and after that he was let go.
And you festival.
Last year, Harvest Festival, yeah, thereabouts.
Can I flip through the notebook and see just like roughly around that time of year if there was anybody else put in?
Sure.
in-
Around that time of year, a lot of people end up in jail for drunken disorder.
Festivals. Yep.
There were another 6 men and 2 women in jail that day. Well, that sort of week.
Gotcha.
You can tell that it was that day because it's like 8 people jailed the same day, around the second month of autumn.
Does it note why they were put into jail, or just
Drunkenly disorder for all of them.
Okay. And there wasn't any of them that weren't drunkenly disorder around that time?
No. No, there's none of them. Not that week, nor the month surrounding it.
Oh, all right.
Like,
out of character.
Go ahead.
And out of character, if we were to go to like the infirmary, they would have all that documentation of who was in and for what, correct?
You would probably be able to check the documents, whether they have the information there or not. You would have to go check.
I gotcha. Okay, cool.
Look, I know that you're capable. Please bring whoever did this to my daughter to justice.
That is absolutely what we're here to do.
Thank you.
This may be a sensitive question, so I apologize in advance. Were there any past relationships that she had that either went south or ended badly, or they didn't treat her well, that you know of, that could point us in a direction that could be helpful?
No, she did go out with another man before Parker. But I had her quit that relationship before it got too far.
What was his name?
I think it was Damien. No. I think it was Damien or something very similar to it. I can't recall.
Was it Simon?
Are you
Sorry,
actually?
that was out of character.
Okay.
That was out of character.
I have to say it was Damien, but I'm pretty sure that's wrong. It was something similar to it. Maybe it was just like one of those. It was no, it was definitely Damien, but it was pronounced differently. It was Damien or it was a foreigner, half Schwanti kid. Came in with a caravan around, I think it was like 3 years now. They stayed in town for a couple of weeks, and that's when Catherine started dating him. That's what started those nasty rumors about her.
Do you know where he is now?
Left town a long time ago.
Okay.
Around the time that I told him to do so.
Okay. Did Catherine have any valuables, jewelry,
she did
like
have. We gifted her a necklace that used to belong to to her grandmother. My mother. Is a locket that my father had gifted to her. So it was supposed to go to my wife, but we decided to give it to her to wish her luck in finding a reasonable and stable husband. But I guess we just cursed her and that.
Did she wear that all the time?
I think so.
Any other jewelry that you can think of, or any other valuables that she may have had that were really important to her?
No, she did have a. She did have a nice, rather expensive set of perfumes, and well, she still has a set of perfumes at home in her room. Yeah. I don't know anything else that she really would have bragged about.
Okay. And speaking of her room, what kind of things did she normally wear when she would go out? Is there any specific outfit or types of clothing that she preferred? Kind of trying to get a sense of how she dressed and or anything like that.
She did wear. She did have a nice black dress that we gifted her last winter's eve, and she did use it quite often. Um, I think she might have had that on last night. I would have to check back home. She looked really beautiful in that dress.
I'm gonna look at Dorbin and be like, "Have any other?" Not say that, but like give
Yeah.
him the look like
Um,
anything else.
I guess this may be a little out there. Do you happen to know of any dark rumors that have gone around the town in the recent months? Anything
I
to do with like foul magic specifically?
no. I did hear from one of the. Yeah. No, I did hear from. What was it? Was it Maester Bugsby? I think it was Bugsby. Um, uh, one of the farmers last week came by the shop. They were trying to get a new set of tools for their horses. Saddlebags, I think it was. He ended up purchasing. He told me that there had been monsters roaming in the forms, shadows at the edge of the plots of land. It was just like it's one of those rumors, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I was gonna say just like the Sandbone Devil, but I guess
Yeah.
that one turned out to be quite true. Um,
Um,
I can't think of anything else other than that one.
okay, I appreciate it. Other than that, I would actually like to ask your permission to be able to question your family as well about any particulars. I mean, you said that your wife and your daughter were very close to Catherine as well, so we probably will touch base with them to see if they have any more information for us. I just wanted to make sure that's okay with you,
I,
you being the man of the house.
Yeah, I would appreciate if you'd let me see my family. Let me break the news. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if probably.
I'll do the best that I can. I can't guarantee that, but we can at the very least hold off questioning until that you're able to.
Thank you. I'm gonna. How am I gonna tell? And oh God. Oh.
I mean, it's usually when delivering grief, it's usually best to get it out there. Don't try to sugarcoat it or do anything like that. Just let them know, and then try your best to be that pillar for your family so that they can lean on you. Because I know it's just as hard for you, but I'm sure that your family will need that from you.
Yeah, I need to be strong. Need to keep it together.
And don't be afraid to lean on your family as well, especially your wife. She sounds like a wonderful person that would be completely understanding to you needing a little bit of a shoulder to lean on as well.
Yeah, she's the best. Uh, could I have a moment, please?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. And I lost my brain.
Don't worry, I'm totally not crying actual tears.
Okay. I'm like concerned. I'm like, Vosen the best actor.
That moment when the cleric is like actually a cleric and is actually like gives a shit. And then you got the two fucking rogues in the other room, like, how do we fucking get what we need to know?
Yeah. What is complex emotion he's dealing with? Because I've never heard of any of these.
Emotion. EQ? Gross.
Alright, so I am assuming you guys leave the room.
Yeah, that's the end of our questions.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll give him space.
You as soon as you close the door, you can hear a little bit of sobbing coming from inside. And
But before we leave, I would like to sense motive to see just throughout our questioning. Like that's why
Sure.
Bo's kind of staying quiet.
Oh
to kind
yeah,
of
I never
Sure.
get a feel.
sense motive.
Yeah.
go ahead and give me a sense motive.
Dude's a fucking skinwalker.
Motherfuck.
You done know.
Fuck.
She knows.
Durban, you were sort of focused on trying to be a pillar for the community as you were taught by your religion. Celera, maybe she was still trying to be supportive, but perhaps has a little bit more rapport with people in general. Celera, you could tell immediately, like he was going through all the stages of grief in a very short period of time. He's broken. He's a broken man, as far as you can tell.
Yeah, that's like the main reason why I didn't even do a sense motive, because I was just like, this guy is so sad.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This guy's
Thank you.
losing it.
That's how the fucking changelings get you, though.
You never know. Alright, so the two ends of the investigation, the interrogation have ended. And once again, we're going to finish the session as the two parts of the party get together and start sharing the information they have acquired. Because that is going to be the end of the session, having 10 minutes left till 11 p.m. so that our dearest Red can take off and go to work as absolute madman that he is.
Appreciated, guys.
Yeah. I hope that everyone enjoyed the session.
Yeah, that was fun.
Hell yeah.
If you have any suggestions, any complaints, you can always tell me, let me know. And if there's anything in particular that you'd like to see more of, you should also tell me. And on that note, I guess goodbye, stream.
Peace out, stream.
Peace out, stream.
Peace.
See ya.